Review with Forrest McNeil is one of the best sitcoms of the past 10 years. Though it only ran for 3 seasons and failed to reach a wider audience beyond its dedicated fan base, Andy Daly's scathing take on reality TV was easily one of the best things that Comedy Central have ever commissioned. If you're unfamiliar with the central premise of the show, Review follows Daly as Forrest McNeil, a sickeningly optimistic reality host who endeavours to review life itself. Each episode, viewers would submit requests for McNeil to review, and he would diligently oblige no matter the subject, whether it be racism, joining the Mile High Club, or even murder. After he's completed the task, he then assigns the activity a rating out of 5. Now, this premise sounds like something that could have amounted to a corny, skit-based prank show, but what sets Review apart from its peers was its use of continuity. When we first start the show, Forrest is a happily married, family-orientated man who uses the show as a means to enjoy himself. But as Review progresses, the actions he performs in his reviews have long-standing implications which continue throughout the series, even after his individual views conclude. Take for example one of the show's most iconic episodes, 15 Pancakes / Divorce / 30 Pancakes. In the show, Forrest is asked to eat 15 pancakes in one sitting, a task which he begrudgingly completes before vomiting and giving the activity 1 star. Then Forrest is asked to divorce his wife.
I'm divorcing you.
What?
I can't tell you how terrible it feels.
Wait, why? Why is this happening? Okay.
This entire segment is brutally funny, and the first instance in which the show breaks away from its segmented format to become a serialized program. The implication of the divorce are not just contained to the individual segment. In the aftermath of this review, Forrest is asked to eat 30 pancakes, which, after a bitter new cynicism having engulfed his entire character, he completes with relative ease and awards 5 stars. But this isn't the end of the divorce strand. For the remainder of the series, Forrest must continue to wrestle with the implications of his decision, losing a custody battle for his son Eric, taking abuse from his ex-wife for his actions, and most humiliatingly of all, catfishing his ex, only for her to fall in love with the man behind the pictures, whose Forrest was originally using to enact his plan. What made the show so great was that as the series continued, the actual reviews gave way to this increased sense of continuity, to the point where we were essentially tuning in every week to watch as Forrest destroyed himself for the purpose of the show. In truth, the show's main purpose appeared to be about lampooning its own format, exposing the absurdity of a task as monolithic as a review of real life. Often McNeil's reviews would only be tangentially covered to the actual activity in question, as he frequently misinterpreted, both unintentionally and deliberately, the wording of requests directed towards him. An excellent example of this is the episode Falsely Accused, Sleep with Your Teacher, Little Person, in which Forrest answers a question from someone to review what it would be like to sleep with your teacher. Taking this literally, Forrest hunts down the student's actual teacher and aggressively seduces her by tracking her location and inserting himself into her life. This all culminates in this brilliant exchange here.
I meant your teacher, not my teacher.
I don't have a teacher. I'm a grown-up, so I couldn't have done that.
Yeah, well, screw you, and your show sucks.
At this point in the series, Forrest has essentially been reduced to a psychopath, coldly carrying out his show's mission statement without any regard for the people in his life. In an episode like William Tell Grant a Wish Rowboat, Forrest watches as his ex-wife Suzanne is dating sportsman Joe Dale Jr., a man who, whilst appearing pretty commendable, is actually this.
Ever since I started dating her, whenever I get a little something on the side, I feel pretty bad about it.
Forrest knows how manipulative Joe is, and yet he does nothing about it. In the same episode, he's been asked to make his son's wish come true, and since his son's wish is actually this...
What I wished for
Yeah?
was for Mom and me to move back to LA
Well?
and move in with Joe Dale Jr.
He decides begrudgingly that there's nothing he can do about it. Forrest's insistence that his show is worthwhile, that his work is more important than those around him, is what drives the series, and ultimately results in his complete and total collapse. By the time the 3rd series airs, Forrest has been shot, committed murder, spent time in prison, and, weirdly, most horribly of all, has watched as his wife has lost any respect for him. Just contrast her reaction to him in this sequence
I am so sorry. Is there any...
with this.
You know, Forrest, I want you to remember this feeling. And I want you to think really carefully about this.
This is a broken man. A man who has put work above all else at the cost of everything that he once held dear. And yet what the show cleverly does is never show us anything outside of this bleak existence. Our understanding of Forrest's life before the show is limited to the information he gives us. We don't actually know what Forrest was like before he started doing review. What we see of his life is idyllic, but how do we know how happy he really was? Review shows us that our understanding of reality TV is limited only to what we see on screen. What's even worse is that Forrest doesn't really have any regard for the rules he, apparently, rigidly subscribes to. He's constantly bending the rules, changing his mind, or looking for loopholes in his reviews, like in this sequence.
I realized that the question I'd been asked was, what is it like to do a William Tell? Not, what is it like to be William Tell?
This is especially sad, because here is a man who has put the rules of his work above all else, and yet he isn't committed enough to follow them. His commitment to the show is surface deep. He almost seems to revel in the chaos. The only thing that matters is that the review must go on. The show concludes in an excellent fashion. Wait, hold up. Before I tell you how it ends, this is the part of the video where I will spoil the ending. I've given you fair warning. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to spoil the end of the entire series. And if that's something you don't want to listen to, then just stop watching and check out some of our excellent videos, like this one, or this one, or this one. I mean, they're all pretty great. The show concludes in an excellent fashion, with a review submitted by Forrest's ex-wife, asking him to never review anything ever again. Forrest is about to quit the show, when his producer, Grant, persuades him to use a veto, something that can only be used once per series, and carry on his quest to review life itself. Forrest has the chance to get out of his situation, but alas, he takes the veto. And then the show gets cancelled. In a horrible twist of fate, Grant promptly tells Forrest that the network has not renewed the show, but Forrest's chance to reconcile with his wife and son is gone, his decision reaffirming with them that he is beyond repair. In a way, it's an awfully cruel joke to play on a man who has taken such a beating from life, but the final scene of review sees Forrest, in a state of complete delusion, continue presenting the show, thinking that he's been pranked because he cannot face that something that he's given everything for is truly over. Review really does destroy Forrest's life, and in the process it shows us the consequences of our society's fixation on celebrity. There is something noble in what Forrest attempts to do. He merely descends further and further into the abyss. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you'd like to see more from Full Fat videos, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can see our social media links down below if you want to follow us on things like Twitter. And thank you very much to all our patrons. If you would like to join our Patreon, the link is in the description. We will see you next week.